Right. We are here today, and there's an issue in which we are about to speak about concerning a statement that was peddled all through social media concerning Kyle Taklalsingh. But what we are going to do right about now, we are going to share the link because there are certain people that don't know that we are coming on this early because our first advertisement was for 8 p.m. tonight. So because we are coming on so early, we are going to share the link tonight. So we're coming right back. We start a little early. It was really going on about to start. It was about to start for 8 o'clock. However, the gentleman would have had a little issue that we had was to start early today. So we're coming right back and we are going to share the link, share it all over. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. For those that are hearing us now, we are going live in the next 10 minutes or so. Right, we are back. We are back. As I say, we start a little early today because the esteemed gentleman would I get tied up in doing certain things. Now, the person that we are interviewing tonight is Mr. Kyle Taklalsingh, who is going for the position of policy and strategy holder. And as was said, his expertise is in policy law, public law, and constitutional claim. Now, this internal election would have been taking place, is scheduled to take place, as a matter of fact, on the 15th of June. Now, I have none other than Mr. Kiel Taklalsingh on the line here this afternoon. Mr. Kyle.
Hi, good night, Renison. Good night to you and your listeners and viewers. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to share my thoughts and views accordingly. And yes, you're right. June 15th is the day of the UNC internal election. I am going up for policy and strategy officer of the party. And I believe that I can make a contribution to the party to make the UNC stronger. It is my view that a stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. And it is up to us, the membership of the United National Congress, to try and contribute to our party and to make it stronger so that we can provide a national platform that would attract voters to vote the United National Congress into office.
Now, Mr. Kyle, you would have made some claim in your speech on the one that we would have grabbed from on the day that I believe that was the lunch.
Yes.
Right, you would have said that there are problems with the economy, with crime, and with infrastructure within Trinidad and Tobago. And
yes.
You could elaborate on that for me, please, because we know about the crime situation. It's real bad. And if you had to be living under a rock in Trinidad and Tobago as to not to feel the effects of crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and you would have made another claim too, at the same time, that Ms. Erla Christopher is one of the worst commissioner of police in Trinidad and Tobago. So yeah, I mean, elaborate on the thing that you decide to, that you shed light on the economy and the infrastructure and crime and with Erla.
Well, as you said, you're right. Living in this country, we know that crime is we're in a bad state. We may have the laws, but enforcement in our country is, at an all-time low. The rates of prosecution, the rates of detection, and in charge of the ship at this point is Erla Christopher. And I think, any metric we go by under crime, rising homicide, rising home invasions, rising theft. We have now the specter of where extortion rackets being run on businesses throughout the country, and those are really things that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service ought to be fighting and combating much better with the support of the governing party, the People's National Movement. And when you look at what is happening, when you look at the effects that people are going through, the real human touch, meaning you can't spend time out with your family anymore, you can't do the things that we used to do. It is clear that the parameter of success, let's put it like that, is failing. The commissioner has failed, in my view. We're not combating crime effectively. And therefore, what we need is positive change in the country. We need a change of, in my view, political change, but we also need a change of personnel. I mean, Erla Christopher has failed, yet the government has decided to renew her contract. When you have people who are failing in what they are set out to do or what they are tasked with doing, you have to replace them if they're not doing the job. I mean, I think that's just logic. We know it in sport, we know it in any other field. If a company is failing, the CEO is often chopped and changed. If a football team is failing, the manager is often chopped and changed. The police service, under our constitution, gives the commissioner of police immense power to manage the police service. She's in charge of promotion. She's in charge of human resource. She's in charge of policy of the police service. So if you have that power to manage the police service and you're not combating crime, which is your primary function, then you have to go. And that is my view, and that is why I said that we have serious problems with governance, because ultimately it was the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, the government, that decided to renew her contract for another year, even though she's failing. And so we have serious problems, and it is clear that the government or the governing authorities in the country right now aren't serious enough to fix them. And if they are not fixing them, well, then we have to fix them as a people, as a party, as an organization, and in the context of an internal election, our slate of persons want to get in to assist the United National Congress in winning the election next year so that we could make the decisions that are required in order to, improve our country.
Now, where I want to ask about that especially is concerning that.
Yeah.
Do you have faith, or is a lack of faith what cause the United Patriots as to come forward as to bring the strong approach or the change that is required? Why does that make you, Rushton Parry, Dinesh Rambali, Anita Haynes, all of you to come forward? Or you don't believe in the present state at the NATEX right about now?
Let's put it like this. I don't want to disparage any of my colleagues in the United National Congress. Let's put it like this. The primary purpose of a political party is to win elections and to govern. People join political parties because you have political views. You believe in certain policies. And when a political party is formed with its members want to see the policies that you believe in implemented as national policy. You can't do that in opposition. You have to win elections and get into government to effect the policies and philosophies and changes that your members, the members of your party, want to see. Right? If you are not winning elections, then you are not fulfilling your role as a political party. A political party could do many other things. You could have social activities, you could have, sports days and family days. All of that is fine and, but its primary role is to win an election to effect the policy that your members want to see effected. Now, that falls squarely upon the leadership of the party if you are not winning elections. The current leadership of the party is the political leader, and she is supported by NATEX, which is 17 offices, right? That are up for election. You have some that are added in now. I believe there's a social and media officer, and there's another officer that was appointed to manage different things. But you have these offices that support the political leader, the NATEX. And if it is, the results are that we are not winning elections, it means that the NATEX is not doing their job. And it may not be because of total incompetence. It may not be because of, lack of will. It may simply be that the NATEX, this current configuration of the NATEX, is unable to support the political leader to do what has to be done in order to win the next election. And therefore, I believe I have reached a stage in my life. I am recently married. I am 42 years. I am thinking about starting a family, and I want to see our country prosper, because I don't want my son or daughter living in a country that they are afraid of crime and the economy is bad and they can't find jobs and they have to leave their family and go abroad to get, better jobs and better opportunities. I don't want that. I love Trinidad and Tobago. I always tell people, even though I can travel, I hate to travel because I can't give up my food in Trinidad. I can't give up my friends. I can't give up the lime. I love Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore I feel that I've reached a stage in my life. I am fairly successful as a lawyer. I have my own firm. I want now to contribute, to lend my expertise as a lawyer to the party to see if that could assist them in winning the election in order to make positive change nationally. That is where my head is at right now, and that is why I have offered myself. Mr. Parry, I know, is a successful businessman. He could walk away tomorrow from the politics and continue to run his business, but he also wants to see for his children and his grandchildren going forward that our country, that there is positive change in our country. So that is why the Patriots have assembled. We have assembled because we want to assist our party to win elections, to get in government, to improve our country.
Now, you would have said something in a speech there that was very, I pick up on it. The mere factor that you say you don't want to disparage none of the rest of your colleagues and them, which means that you're not, according to public perception that we hear in outside in the public perception, are you against the UNC? Because I ain't get that from you. I know if I'm wrong.
No, that is unfortunately what you call a counter narrative. or that is what the other side, unfortunately, are putting out in order to defend their poor track record. So they can't defend our policy positions. They can't defend against our arguments. They can't answer them. So it seems what they've done is they've retreated into, well, if you're going against me, then you're against the party. That is absolutely absurd.
So
in a democratic party and institution, the way that leadership positions are filled is through an election. We now have an internal election in the UNC. Every single member of the party, any member of the party, can put their name forward and go up for a position. Ask the membership to elect them. I have decided to do that as a lifetime member of the party, as someone who has joined the party for many years and someone who grew up in the party. I have decided to do that. So how could I be a traitor? I have never been a member of any other party, and I probably won't ever be a member of any other party. I am a United National Congress member, born and bred, and therefore that is my position on that issue. I am definitely not against my party, but I have disagreements with them.
So explicitly, you're not against the UNC. You're for making it stronger then.
A stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. That is how I opened my speech. I didn't say a stronger party. I didn't say another party. I didn't say pack up your wicket and go because you're vexed. I said a stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. And this process and me putting myself forward, I think is going to make the party stronger. It will demonstrate to the population that we are able to conduct our business openly, transparently, professionally, even though we may have a disagreement.
Now you would have said something in your speech that they say we must make the population trust us. How you decided in going about doing something?
I missed that last part there. You broke up. Say that again.
You say that we must make the population trust us. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? How you go about making the population trust the UNC again?
By demonstrating to the population that we can conduct our business in our party in a way that will let them trust us when we get into when we get into government. We will also conduct it professionally. So one of the issues was the calling of internal election. We went to the population and said that the PNM was wrong because they were trying to delay the local government election. In fact, our party went all the way to the Privy Council to get the Privy Council to say that local elections should be called. How could we go to the population with that type of argument and in our own party election, we are delaying it and we were not calling it, and it seems that we are going to put it off. So how can you say your policy be to the population, elections must be called when elections are due, but on the other hand, you're not announcing your own date for internal elections? And that is one example. Another example is the party groups. In our party, we have party groups. Any political party has it. That is the foundation of a political party. A party group is meant to get the feedback from the ground. So you have a little party group at 10 and 12 in a neighborhood. They will speak to the neighborhood. They will see what are the problems in their community. And that is supposed to filter up into the leadership of the party. That demonstrates that our party can consult with the ordinary man, the ordinary worker, the ordinary person, and bring those recommendations forward. If we can't run our own consultative arm properly, can the population trust us to consult with the population when they have views that they want the leadership of the country to know? And that is my problem. And I said, look, the institutions in our party have to be built up. They have to be functioning. So that when we go to the population, they will say, well, look, it is obvious that the institutions in your party are functioning. That means when you come to govern our country, our institutions will also be functioning.
So when you say the party group is the most powerful entity, you say it's not a full no maxi and to come and protest and all them kind of thing. But what you have in store for, because you're going to take the position as strategy and policy thing. So what you have installed for the party if you climb that ladder?
First of all, the party groups must function as they were intended to function, meaning they must meet regularly as policy and strategy officer. I will ensure that they meet regularly. I will ensure that they discuss the things that they are supposed to discuss and get the feedback from the communities in which they they are, right? So if, for instance, there's a party group in Cuba, that party group should be able to tell the party all of the problems in that area of Cuba. This is a serious water course issue here. This is a serious problem here. We have in traffic and so on. So those are the technical problems that have to come up. But the party group must also say, well, the party is going to be debating legislation, bail legislation, or pepper spray legislation, or some other type of legislation. What is your feeling on that legislation? You don't want to get too technical with me, but do you think that, there should be bail for this, or there should be this, or pepper spray is a good idea, or we should liberalize firearms? And that is how we connect with our membership. We can't go as a NAFEX, as a party, and tell our membership what our policy is. The membership must come to us and say, these are our views on issues. We feel that it is difficult to access legal firearms in our country. And therefore, the law should be changed to facilitate applications for legal firearms for law-abiding citizens to obtain firearms easier, so that they could defend their homes from home invaders. And then we will take that policy upward, right? I am sure no party group talk about light them up. Positive. I'm sure no party group talk about that. I don't mean to be, contentious. But the point is, if you were consulting properly, you would know that people on the ground didn't really like that kind of lingo. They didn't like that kind of, talk. Yes, we want to defend ourselves, but nobody's talking about empty clips. Right? Not the kind of talk as a political party we should be having. With all due respect to persons who said that, right? We must demonstrate a type of maturity on the political platform so that the population would like us. The population would be attracted to us. We must be a party of policy and not pick-on, right? That is one of the things that I'm saying. Policy. Now, everybody's throwing a little pick-on. That's a little entertaining, fine. But the majority of your conversation must be about policy. So party groups, I am going to ensure they meet regularly. I am going to ensure that minutes of party groups are taken. I am going to ensure that MPs and councillors are mandated to meet with their party groups and find out what the problems are so that they can relate upwards to NATEX as well. And we will then have mandatory communication or proper communication from the ground troops of our party, the ground people, straight up to the leadership, because ideas must filter upward. Strategy must come from the ground, from our party. That is not to say that everybody in our party has a view we have to effect it. That would be impossible, because you have hundreds of thousands of UNC members who may have different views, but the point is at least we are communicating with them. At least we are communicating with them and they understand we are listening to them. And that, I think, is something that has to change in the policy. No. I have also said that, look, we need fixed dates for elections in our party. Just like we need in our country. No prime minister should pull out an election date from their back pocket. We should also have term limits. No leader should be running 4 and 5 terms in a row. Right? We should, because people, power corrupts. Right? So those are things that I think that I would recommend. Now, that is not me saying that is going to be the policy. But those are things that I would like to see implemented with consultation of the membership to hear their views on it.
Okay. I mean, you're talking something about, like from a referendum perspective, in which the people have a say on things that, would have affect the country, and you would have talk about the policy. All right. You would have talk about the delegate system and the one man, one vote system thing. Now, I would have seen a direct link in how you intended, a matter of fact, to give the people a say in certain things, but is that not paraphrasing from how the election is running, the one man, one vote system, which everybody get a chance?
Well, one man, one vote is for an election of officers. So you get a vote on the people. That is what you call representative democracy.
Right.
So everybody gets to vote for the person that they want to represent them in a position of leadership, who they think will reflect their values and views, etc. Referendum is what you call direct democracy in a sense. So every issue that is to be decided is put to a vote. I think that there are some things which you may need referendums for, and I think that there are some things that you have to leave to your representatives to decide, right? So, for instance, I think in the national stage, if we are going to change our final court of appeal from the Privy Council to the Caribbean Court of Justice, that is something that should be done by referendum. I think every citizen should have a vote on that, and we decide on that. But when you come to talk about, let's say, some fine issue of economic policy, whether we raise the interest rate, the repo rate, as they call it in the central bank, or we make recommendations, those are things that you don't put, to every member of the population. That is something you have to trust that your leaders would have appointed a competent minister of finance to take those decisions. Unfortunately, we don't have a competent minister of finance, but that's a different issue, right? But there are some decisions you have to leave up to your representatives, but there are some that can go by referendum. I think, for instance, in a party, if the United National Congress is to have an alliance, let's say, with a Michaela Pandey or a Gary Griffith, that is something that ought not to be just left up to the party. That is something we must have wide consultation with the membership to make sure that the membership agrees with that. Because it's too often. I mean, look at the local government. There was an alliance out of nowhere with Mr. Griffith, and I have nothing personal against Mr. Griffith, but Mr. Griffith said some very terrible things about the United National Congress when he was opposed to us. So did Andy Leader. So did Mr. Philip. What's his name now? Philip Alexander. Right? And then all of a sudden, by the snap of a finger, the leadership says, "Well, we're going to go into alliance with these two." Well, okay, that's okay. I'm not saying that you should not ally with them, but the membership needs to be told and informed and express their views on it. We need to have wide consultation with our members as to whether they agree or they disagree with that. And that is the respect that you must show your members. And those are things that could be spoken about in party groups, and the party groups could send their views up. So when NATEX is deciding on issues like that, they'll say, well, look, party group 137 in Cuba South, party group 23 in Caroni East, they are of this view, but look, party group 12 in Tunapuna saying, they don't want to see that because it will affect the East-West corridor negatively. That's the kind of feedback we need, and that is how a party should function.
Now, the reason why I would have reached out to you, Mr. Kyle, is based on, I was hearing some of the views and things that, from in the grapevine, and I would have picked up on certain things throughout social media. Do you think it's a deliberate attempt by mainstream media not to carry the information in which, plenty of the members like Anita Haynes, Dinesh Ramboli, yourself, and others to the public? Do you feel that is a deliberate attempt to censor you all?
My view on the media is I see every Monday morning somebody blames the media. Even though the UNC say the media is CNN, the CNN they say that it's UNC 3 and not UNC 3, right? So everybody tends to blame the media. I don't doubt that there are some media personalities and practitioners that have their biases. It is clear to me that some have it, and some would suppress stories, and some would accentuate stories and emphasize on things. I think as an advocate, as somebody who has had to convince juries and has had to convince judges and court of appeals judges, as a politician, you have to have advocacy skills. It is your job to persuade people to believe in you. Luckily, this isn't like years ago when you had to have only public meetings and you have social media, you have shows like yours, you have shows like different shows that you could go on, and you have to put yourself out there, face the different media outlets, traditional and non-traditional media outlets, and reach people and try to persuade them. That is your job as a politician. You have to persuade people to come to your side. If you're not doing that, then you're not a politician. Politics is not for you. Right? If you just want to sit and expect everybody to come to your side, well, maybe you should be something else, but definitely not a politician. Right? So regardless of what the media is, I don't look at that. I am looking at what my task is between now and the 15th of June is to convince as much UNC members as I can, speak to them, talk to them, meet them, go on shows like yours, like any other show that I could find where people listen and speak to them and convince them that we need change in the party to effect change in the country, because a stronger UNC is a stronger team.
Now, I'd double back and ask you this question. Now you would have, I know you would have
I
expected.
just let you know, I have to run in 3 minutes because I'm speaking at a cottage meeting in Tabatita. I'm in the car talking to you now, right? But I have to run in 3, but we could always do this again. But go ahead, I'll take your question.
Right, I had to double back on this question. Yeah,
Yeah.
was there a clear sighting that it would not have had internal election as to the NATEX?
Yes, there was sufficient. Yes, there was sufficient evidence in the public domain that the current NATEX was not going to call this election. One, there was a statement by Dr. Rudal Munilal in December last year where he clearly said statements that, well, there's no internal election, why are you campaigning? Two, there was a voice note that was circulating in social media by him, where the voice sounds extremely similar to a NATEX member, saying that there was going to be no NATEX. That was going around social media. Three, there were activists such as Mr. Victor Roberts, who spoke to persons and leadership, right, in the NATEX, spoke to deputy political leaders, spoke to chairman, and they all informed him that there was not going to be any NATEX election. He has posted this, and it has not been disputed by anybody, right? He put it on his public page. He said he spoke to Mr. Lee, he spoke to ABC, and the decision was there was not going to be any NATEX election. Four, the NATEX was not talking about internal elections, which were due this month. They were talking about screening candidates for next year general election. Why would you jump to that and not deal with your own internal election first, seek a fresh mandate before you go on to screen candidates for your general election next year? Because one of the primary functions and duties is that of NATEX, right? And it's to screen candidates. That is one of the primary functions for the general election. So how were you doing that for next year when your own term was going to be finished this year, right? And so with those things together, that is why Mr. Parry made the call, well, announce the date. And instead what you had was a barrage of press releases from persons on NATEX and others saying, well, it will be called when it's constitutionally due. Well, just name a date. But because sufficient pressure was put on them, we got this date. That is our first victory.
All right.
Right. So in my view, yes.
I know you have to run, Mr. Kyle, but before you go, I was sneaking in one more. I had a lot of others in it, but this one I had to sneak in. You say that the judges just go underneath attacks most of the time when they make particular judgment, and I know you for yourself when you would take up certain cases that they would have burned down your house and these kind of things. What you're saying is that when you make judgment adverse, let me say to the PNM or wherever they attack you.
To the state, well, not only me, but judges in this country who have made judgments, controversial judgments. For instance, the judgment by Justice Rampasad, and there was also one by Justice C. Prasad, where they made judgments against the state. Political persons made comments on those judgments, right? And while you are allowed to comment on judgment, you're not allowed to attack judges or to say things, or to scandalize justice. And in my view, why you as a politician appeal? If you don't like the judgment, appeal it. That's what the process, that's the system. You don't come out and attack the judge. You appeal it. That is the system we run in a democracy. Appeal it all the way in the Privy Council, and if you lose there, what you're going to do now? Attack the Privy Council? No, there's law. Law is supposed to be suited. Law is dealt with on legal principles. If you're wrong in law, you're wrong in law. If you're right in law, you're right in law. There are many cases that I have lost. All right? I have lost cases too. I have won more than I've lost, but I have lost cases and I was upset. I didn't go out and make a public statement and say, well, the judge wrong. No, what I did is quietly file an appeal and then wait for your day and then win your case. That's how you do it. Right? So I criticize the government for that. Yeah? All right.
Well, I don't want to keep you much longer, brother. I don't want to keep you much longer. I know you think.
It was a good rehearsal because I have to address a meeting now. So thanks a lot. Take care, and I hope to chat with you again in future.
All right, then, brother. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Well, you hear it for yourself, people. Now, before we go on, I mean, what would have made us reach out to the gentleman there was this. That was This we're seeing there in the background, the video in the background.
At this point in time, we give a warm welcome to our speaker, Mr. Kyle Taklalsingh, a distinguished legal expert. I can see you all are very excited. Devoted advocate for justice, now offering his expertise as a candidate for the position of Policy and Strategy Officer. With a robust background in public law and constitutional claims, coupled with his commitment to Trinidad and Tobago's progress, Mr. Taklalsingh brings a wealth of experience and dedication to making the UNC stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kyle Taklalsingh.
Good night, everyone. A stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. Let me hear you say it. A stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. June 15th, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, June 15th, that is the day when you, the members of this party, will decide what you want. You will decide if you want a stronger party, because a stronger party means a stronger country, ladies and gentlemen. You will decide if you want a strong team, or you will choose the same team that has not brought success to our party. The choice is very clear, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. This country has serious problems. We have serious problems with our economy, serious problems with crime, serious problems with infrastructure. But we need serious people to fix them. And the people to fix them are in the UNC, and the people to fix them are a part of the United Patriots. But how do we fix them? We fix them in one way. We can fix those problems if we get into government. If we win the election next year, that is the way to solve problems. The United National Congress is not a charity. It is a political party. And the purpose of a political party is to win elections. And therefore, we must make our party strong to take on the PNM in 2025. We must ensure that the population trusts us. And how does the population trust us? By showing how you run your party. We cannot be going to the Privy Council and fighting for an election date. And when your own internal elections are due, you're keeping the election date in your back pocket. How is the population to trust you? We cannot be undermining our own constitution and yet ask the population to trust us. That is not the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the way it works. And therefore, as your next policy and strategy advisor, my very first recommendation to the NATEX would be to have a fixed date for internal elections in our party. Fixed date. No bacchanal, no press release about constitutionally due. We must have a fixed date so our party fully knows and the members know when elections is due, and everybody, every single rank and file member of this party can contest a position. That is the way our constitution was written. There are some constitutions for political parties which don't have one man, one vote, you know. They have delegate system. They have systems where you choose a body of people and that body of people chooses a leader. But the founders of our party decided that they would have one man, one vote. And that is because the founders of our party wanted each and every member of our party to have a say in who will lead them. And that is why this election is important. That is why, as a party, we have fought and stood. My friend Victor Roberts is here. We have stood for democratic institutions in our country. And we know every single day the PNM is undermining democratic institutions. The judiciary, they attack judges every time a judgment has come out. The Police Service Commission, they collapsed it. The Office of Commissioner of Police, they destroyed it by appointing and then reappointing the worst commissioner of police in this history. But how do we go to the population and say that you must fix our independent institutions when the institutions of our party are falling and failing? How do you do that? We need a NATEX. We need strong people like Miss Anita Haynes, like Rushton Parry, like Larry Lala. We need them to get down and get into the institutions and fix them. Did you know that one of the most powerful institutions in this country is your party group? A party group, ladies and gentlemen, a party group is not a Fuller Maxi. A party group is not for the MP to call it and say, come out in Parliament and protest. That is not the purpose of a party group. A party group is meant to bring messages from the community to the leadership, and therefore you have communication from the ground up to your leaders. So when policy is decided, it means that everybody has had their say. That is how a party group is supposed to work. And you see, that is the platform that the United Patriots will stand on. While there are some who will have their heads in the sky looking at stars, we on this side will be looking at you, the members. While there are some who will be up in the sky, in the cosmos, we will be on the ground with you. I leave you with a story. There was a man, and he sought to find God. And he had everything in life. And to find God, he decided he will climb the highest steeple. And God told him that in order to find me, you must go back down among the people. And therefore, with our leadership and this NATEX, we shall ensure that the members of this party have their say, because you are the important ones. You are the members of the party, and it is you that matter. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Kyle Taklalsingh.
Now, at the end of the day, this platform here is not to judge anybody, you know. This platform is not to cast aspersions. But at the end of the day, we need something that is strong to combat what is taking place within our society. We are seeing crime is out of place. We have seen evidence of the fact that judges are being underneath heavy scrutiny. We have seen the thing with Justice Frank C. Prasad, Kyle Taklalsingh. These things are evidence. These things are men that is living through certain scrutiny that exists outside there within the public domain. And I can tell you today, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are under the same scrutiny. Because we would have did some things and we would have get sued from the MP in Point 14. And we was placed underneath a particular scrutiny in which I believe it might be a chance that it might reach to the Privy Council. And we must come together. Now, if it reaches a point that, all right, or you're seeing that this thing could destroy the voter base to a certain degree, we must come together. So if it comes down to brass tacks that everybody must unite to get rid of what is going on here now presently, in which we are facing crime out of control. We see an incompetent police company. These things are facts. Watch crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Is that, ask the question. Let me ask you the question, a matter of fact. Is that the result of a competent commissioner of police. Let me be real. And these things must stop. And we are calling on not you, but the people of Trinidad and Tobago to try and understand where this thing is going. We are seeing point forth in places like Lavantil. All of these places are under and neglected in strong PNM areas. And when we call on them, nobody in answer in his friend, family, nepotism. Nah. What is taking place within our country? We need a strong opposition. We need an opposition that could come together and unify the people. So when I would have heard that there was a man that climbed the highest mountain and went to see God, and God tell him he had to go back amongst the people, the opposition must be amongst the people. There shouldn't be room for no kind of segregation in Trinidad and Tobago where the opposition is concerned. And we must support. All of us, we have no other choice. We are left with no other choice than to support the opposition. Infrastructure is dilapidated and corrupted because only just a few. Crime is out of control. And we still want to support something that is destroying us. What's the state of the economy in Trinidad and Tobago? Is that what we want for ourselves? Now the other day within the public domain there was, we moving on from that. There is a gentleman that called by the name of Christmas list. Charged for sedition in Trinidad and Tobago. Because he would have went in within certain communities and would have operated within a particular way. Not himself, myself. Not himself, I could I get these things out of this, and I from Trinidad. Some that I could not have done. The police could not have done it. Christmas list would have done it. And you would have put this gentleman behind bars on a charge of sedition. But what we are going to do, we are going to play a clip here. Something that from behind the scene. We go play a clip here.
At this point in time, we give a warm welcome.
And off camera, you was telling me something about you went to some country, and because of your video, the government
made it. Belize.
Talk about that.
Well, I went to my very first day in Belize, so I've been back since then. I'm loved in Belize, man. Belize. Anybody watching from Belize it's all love in Belize, but it's very similar. When I walk down the street, everybody knows me. And the very first day I came into the country, I just wandered around and I went to a place. God, I can't even think of the name right now, but it's a swamp area for squatters. Horrible, I can't remember the name. So basically it's a swamp. People go and build houses out of whatever they can find on stilts, because when the water rises, it rises. So my title of my video is the swamp people of Belize City. Oh, I pissed a lot of people off.
The swamp people.
Yeah. Like, how dare you call us swamp people? 600,000 people watched it, and there's like under 350,000 people in all of Belize. So double the population watches it.
Right.
They hated me for a while. Like, how dare you call us swamp people?
Yeah.
And the idea with the title is to get people to watch. They are living in the swamp, so they're swamp people.
Swamp people, yeah.
As I continue to go on and shoot 30, 50 videos like I'm doing here, people are like, wow, this guy doesn't have bad intentions.
Right.
So when I came back 6 months later to revisit that family, I was amazed to see that they no longer had to walk on these broken crates, skids. I don't know if you guys call it skids here, like wood that they had in the swamp,
right,
that you'd have to balance yourself to get to the house. The government came in and put in a proper street with asphalt, constructed a street, and instead of these people being squatters, which they have been for decades, the government gave them all land there. Said, look, this is now your land.
Right.
So, which is incredible. So they got proper electricity to the home, and a few of the people that I featured in the video were gifted free homes, not just the property.
Yeah.
Some of the children, I paid for their school education, which school cost money in Belize. So me doing a video which could have upset some people made the change in those people's lives because the government saw it, and instead of avoiding the problem, they're like, hey, there's a problem here.
Yeah.
So maybe with the government here, if I come back in 6 months, there's no way the whole problem's going to be solved, but maybe there's a solution to some of the problem.
Yeah, somebody might make a move because now people are getting to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
You know?
And when I take pictures of a dirty kitchen, that kitchen normally gets cleaned right away.
No lie.
Right? So.
Yeah, no lie.
Right, we are back. We are back. Now we are going to read some of the comments that many of you would have placed on YouTube. We stream on Rumble. We stream on our website. One of the comments, yes, is Workers' Rights 868 on YouTube, on Facebook too. This country was always dumpy looking. The infrastructure always poorly constructed. We got all the colonial realists to remind us of our place in this country. Stay down. Yes. And that is what's going on within our country. Now you would have placed a man in jail. You would have placed a man in jail. You would have placed a man in jail for showing the people what is going on within the country. And the thing about it, I know why the police and them and the government getting on so, because nobody talk good about the government within the country. Because everybody want the ability, want a chance, and is not being able to get no chance. So that is lack of vision. And the same Bible that some of you like to quote at the end of the day said that my people perish for lack of vision. How much are you religious leaders that are outside there that are willing to admit that fact? How much? I know what to do, the director telling me open the line, but if at this point in time anybody want to call and give any contribution, the number is on the screen. This is a live broadcast as to what is taking place now, presently. Now, what I am going to do within the meanwhile is place a clip, a next clip. As the series that we are going to launch within point 14. And this thing could only be pointed out only if Christmas list. If Christmas list didn't go where he went there, we'd have never noticed. Trying to see if we could pull the video now. My name is Vincent Jeffrey and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Now, there is a story right here that many of you are missing. And the only so it could be exposed is by showing you in juxtaposition as to a film that was released by Christmas List, a behind the scene take. Just for you, the people are Point 14, to see the amount of disrespect that you would have received all throughout the tenure of the PNM existence within Point 14. Now, many of the time we told you, don't vote for the PNM again in Point 14. It's the only time you will get respect. You see that piece of thing there? Stay tuned. We will go right into this. We are going to launch a series going straight into the exposure and the type of treatment that we would have received throughout the years from the PNM administration. My name is Vincent Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. Like, share, and subscribe. And we are coming with that story soon. Right. Or you would have seen that. I hope you stay tuned to that video, because we are going to launch a series. There are people that are talking about legacy and this and that and the other, and they want to sue this and sue that and sue the other. We are going to show you what they would have done to the people at Point 14. And any of you that want to reach out to us as to show us what is taking place within your village, within your place of abode, within your area, we will be happy to come with cameras on the scene and to expose what is taking place here in Trinidad. They can't hold all of us. We must come together as one, as a unit functioning, as to take down the narrative in which they have been spewing within the public domain. At this point in time, I ain't gonna stay no set of time here again. I ain't gonna stay no set of time here again. We go conclude the program here tonight. Words have power as they carry our thoughts and emotions, shaping our interaction and perception. It's time to fight the real enemy. I hope you understand that. If it comes down to it and everybody had to unite, we must respect each other's views. And at this point in time, Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the leader of the UNC and must call to order the people within the party. The purpose of a political party is to win elections, and that is what it is. God bless to each and every one of you, and thanks for watching. It has always been a pleasure to share these moments with you. Thank you.